back. Today we're diving into a very topical one, which is the silly little supply chain. You might have heard about the ports and the ships and the trucking and what's it all about? Who knows? Let's dive in. So first of all, let's wiggle on back to early pandemic days. So in 2020, the pandemic hit and a lot of things happened all at once. First of all, China quarantined around 50 million people in and around Wuhan, and China is the global center of manufacturing, and then a bunch of international companies shut down their factories and productions and storefronts and panic cut their orders. Shipping companies assumed there would be a big downturn, so they canceled routes and waylaid ships. Pretty much our capacity as an Earth to make things in general was just slowed at a bunch of different points. And then we were all stuck at home, couldn't travel, kind of bored, not spending money on drinks at bars and concert tickets, and we were all kind of like, you know what's fun? Online shopping and building a deck, learning to knit and buying homeschooling stuff and baking equipment. Oh, and now we're working from home, we gotta get a desk and a chair. Anyways, there's this huge surge of orders for products made in China. And like a crazy surge, the US has ordered 26 million containers worth of products this year alone, which laid end to end could wrap around the world 6.88 times. Is a lot. So you see the problem already, but also bad news bears number 400. There aren't enough shipping containers to carry all the stuff we want from Chinese industrial cities to ports in the US. Or maybe there are enough, but they weren't like exactly where we as Americans needed them to be, because rewinding it again, there had been an enormous demand for PPE for medical workers and human beings in general. So early pandemic China was sending out a ton of PPE all over the globe, which is not really the norm. In normal times, most shipping lines typically go from Chinese manufacturing cities to the wealthiest markets who do most of the consuming of things. So a lot of ships going from China to North America and Japan and Europe. Okay, so back to COVID times. A ton of these shipping containers were kind of stacking up at these other ports, sort of waiting to be filled and sent back to China. Meanwhile, the rest of the world starts struggling with COVID and labor shortages and shutting down, and now they have all the empty shipping containers. So back to China, they start to recover first, stuff starts to get made, and then there's no shipping containers to put things in, because we've all got them. And in some cases, we've still got them. Are you with me? This is a lot of things. Also, there have been some droughts and fires. We'll get back to those. So cut to today in the port of Los Angeles, where there's a huge backlog of shipments. Ships just literally chilling out there, putting down anchor, no place to park your boat, a ton of empty shipping containers taking up space in the port itself. Basically, it's just a big, massive traffic jam. Also, parking a ship out there isn't super cool because it's the ocean and there are waves and wind and Shamu the killer whale. There's currently an all-time high rate of shipping containers falling overboard. Just air fryers falling right into the sea. So all these shortages, delays, problems, backlogs means everything costs more for everybody and leads to, you guessed it, inflation. Same product, but more expensive. I know, it's not any fun. I tried to make it fun. Another element of this is a transition we've seen over the last 40 years. There's been an ongoing shift from traditional manufacturing with storing goods and inventory over a long period of time to just-in-time or lean manufacturing, which basically means the company receives goods only as they need them for the production process, which reduces inventory costs and wastage and increases productivity and profit. So since it's become more in vogue for companies to be leaner and meaner and not stockpiling, say for random example, microchips, you sort of get stuck where you can make 70% of a car but waiting on the other 30%, which, what a random example, is exactly what happened. So if you heard about the chip shortage or the microchip shortage, this is all connected. It's all a snowball effect from COVID with a few other factors. One was the China-United States trade war, which limited the number of chips we could buy from China. Another was a drought in Taiwan, which was a big deal because chip manufacturers use large amounts of ultra-pure water in microchip manufacturing. Another one, the hits just keep coming, was this fire in March in a Japanese factory, which produces 30% of the microcontroller units for the whole world. And we can't forget the rising prices of raw materials and everything in general in 2021. Just a big, weird, bad snowball. So this is a toughie because around 169 industries have been impacted by the global chip shortage, namely the consumer electronics and automotive industries. So for cars, most modern cars have between 1,400 and 1,500 chips in them. They control everything from window motors to navigation systems. They love chips. They must eat so many to become a fully grown car. Nom nom. So with this massive shortage, some car companies are selling cars without some amenities like heated seats to navigation systems. Some are fully assembling chipless cars and just kind of parking them and waiting until they can finish. And production in general is being cut. So car prices are high, options are low, cars love chips. These are my spark notes. And cars are just part of the equation. The whole supply chain situation is definitely harder and more complicated for products like cars that have a zillion different parts made in a zillion different places, but it's also complicated for little baby small businesses and medium businesses. Some of the biggest retail companies in the US were like, okay, the supply chain is a mess. It's fine. We're just going to charter our own ships, avoid the traffic jam, go to other ports, unload their reindeer decorations and Christmas dinosaurs, and be ready to rock for Christmas. But the cost to lease a ship like this is around $1 to $2 million a month, not even counting the cost of renting a shipping container. Speaking of this, if you're wondering if there's a winner here, it's the shipping companies. They make $1 gazillion right now. So I know it sucks for everybody except the shipping company because you want gifts and Christmas things, but hey, what if we all try really hard to be really patient and kind and understanding this year, especially when interacting with a small business? All of them have been through a really tough and turbulent almost 2 years, and I'll go out on a limb and speak for all of them and say they really hugely appreciate your patience. So that's a supply chain situation. It's messy, it's frustrating, it's probably going to be with us for quite a while. Some projections say it won't be resolved until around 2023. So the best things we can do are shop early, stay flexible, and be kind. Sound good? Bye! See you next week!